Get ready for the biggest headlines of the day. President Trump and Mark Cuban are showing their dynamic relationship right now. We dive into the one thing they share that's driving a major move in healthcare. Find out what the billionaire businessman is saying about his shared vision with the president at the White House. Indiana football. Finally, we turn to the future of technology as Mark Cuban proposes a bold new idea. He is suggesting a federal AI token tax that could reshape the AI industry and boost revenue. Don't miss this analysis, and tell us what you think about this game-changing proposal in the comments below. Former President Donald Trump and billionaire businessman Mark Cuban showcased a dynamic, albeit sometimes contentious, professional relationship during a recent event at the White House focused on lowering prescription drug costs. The interaction highlighted a love-hate dynamic between the two figures. The meeting centered on promoting cheaper prescription drugs available through TrumpRx. Cuban was present for the announcement regarding the addition of 600 generic drugs to the prescription website, with Amazon Pharmacy and GoodRx set to join cost-plus drugs on the platform. Trump emphasized that this move would give consumers a single source for the lowest possible prescription costs. When questioned about working together to reduce drug costs despite Cuban's previous endorsement of former Vice President Kamala Harris, Trump quipped, stating, "Well, he made a mistake. It was a big mistake." Cuban dismissed the remark, telling reporters that the president was playing and that he would not engage in such discourse. The two have maintained a friendship spanning over 2 decades. Cuban described their relationship as love-hate, noting that even while campaigning for Trump's rival, it became important to collaborate with the president following the election. During their joint appearance, Trump remarked that they shared a commonality. "We have the same thing, one thing in common. We want to make people better and keep them wealthy." Cuban clarified his focus, stating he was at the White House to discuss healthcare, not politics. He firmly asserted that healthcare is a nonpartisan issue, arguing that everyone, regardless of party affiliation, desires lower costs. He declared his alignment with any effort to reduce healthcare expenses. "If you're going to make healthcare cheaper, you're my new best friend." Cuban, founder of the online pharmacy Cost Plus Drugs, operates by selling drugs at cost with a modest markup to boost transparency, detailing manufacturer prices on their site. His overarching goal is to tackle the escalating cost of healthcare in the United States, which outpaces inflation and represents a significant cost of living burden for Americans. Refusing to be drawn into political debates, Cuban emphasized his dedication to the issue of healthcare affordability. He also briefly mentioned his past consideration of presidential ambitions, stating emphatically that he would not run for office due to the heat, ruling out the possibility on the spot. President Donald Trump announced a significant expansion of the TrumpRx prescription drug pricing platform on Monday, adding over 600 generic medications, an initiative he endorsed alongside billionaire entrepreneur Mark Cuban. Speaking at the announcement, Trump stated the administration is dramatically increasing the number of affordable medications available through TrumpRx, which initially launched earlier this year with 43 branded prescription drugs. Trump claimed this expansion increases the number of available drugs on TrumpRx by nearly 7 times, emphasizing that generic medications offer the same medical benefits at a fraction of the cost of branded alternatives. The platform has been restructured to separate medications into two categories: presidential deals for branded drugs and standard prices for generic alternatives, noting that many branded medicines already have generic competitors available. Mark Cuban, the investor behind the low-cost pharmacy company Cost Plus Drugs, joined the event and voiced strong support for the expanded platform. Cuban acknowledged his prior advocacy for TrumpRx.gov, stating, "I think other than you, I've been the biggest proponent of TrumpRx.gov." He stressed that Americans across the political spectrum desire lower prescription drug prices, asserting that they will achieve something special together. While the administration promoted the expansion as a major affordability measure, some healthcare analysts expressed skepticism regarding the platform's overall impact on Americans with comprehensive insurance. However, experts suggested that uninsured or underinsured patients, particularly those needing treatments like IVF or weight loss medications not consistently covered by insurance, could see the most significant benefits. In related financial news, White House economists estimate that the price reduction deals brokered by the administration with pharmaceutical companies could save Americans approximately $529 billion over the next decade. This development follows previous criticism from Senator Elizabeth Warren regarding the claimed drug price cuts. Billionaire entrepreneur Mark Cuban made an unexpected visit to the White House recently, primarily centered around his involvement with the federal government's initiative to lower prescription drug prices, TrumpRx. Cuban, through his direct-to-consumer marketplace Cost Plus Drugs, is one of 3 drug companies partnering with TrumpRx to make generic prescriptions more accessible. Speaking at an event, Cuban expressed strong support for the initiative, stating that the goal of lowering drug costs unites Republicans, independents, and Democrats. He confirmed that he and President Trump have been discussing a partnership between Cost Plus and the federal effort for months, leveraging existing programming interfaces to allow the federal platform to carry a wider range of Cost Plus's medications. Cuban acknowledged that the initial launch of TrumpRx had limitations, noting that only a fraction of Cost Plus's catalog was immediately available, emphasizing the need for continued expansion. Despite his current focus on healthcare cost reduction, Cuban's past political affiliations, including an endorsement of former Vice President Kamala Harris in 2024, created some confusion among observers regarding his alignment with the administration. When questioned about political aspirations, Cuban dismissed the idea of running for office, stating his ultimate legacy is cutting healthcare costs for American households. He maintained a focus on policy rather than partisan politics, asserting that he is willing to collaborate on future healthcare initiatives, including potentially lobbying for legislation that codifies his most favored nation drug pricing policies. He suggested that reducing costs hinges on addressing the role of insurance companies and pharmacy benefit managers in inflating brand drug costs. Beyond the drug focus, Cuban was pleased to engage on a non-political topic, Indiana football. He expressed enthusiasm for the recent visit by the team to the White House and voiced optimism about the head coach's potential for back-to-back championships. U.S. billionaire investor Mark Cuban has put forward a proposal for a federal AI token tax, targeting commercial artificial intelligence service operators, arguing it could significantly boost efficiency and generate substantial revenue. According to reports from BN Crypto on May 18, Cuban suggested levying a tax of less than 50 cents per 1 million tokens at the commercial AI provider stage, framing it similarly to a sales tax. Cuban specified that the tax scope would be limited to commercial providers, explicitly excluding open-source models and local inference on personal devices to safeguard innovation. Cuban's primary rationale centers on energy efficiency. He contends that token-based taxation would incentivize companies to implement efficiency measures such as tokenization, caching, routing, and regional computing optimization, thereby alleviating the strain large language models, LLMs, place on the U.S. power grid. He projected that the system could yield approximately $10 billion in annual tax revenue in its initial phase, funds which could be allocated to reduce federal debt or support programs addressing labor market disruptions caused by AI adoption. However, the proposal has immediately drawn sharp opposition. Palmer Luckey, founder of Anduril, countered that existing economic incentives already drive efficiency improvements and argued that the tax would disadvantage U.S. companies by making foreign models more competitive. Luckey also raised concerns about potential government overreach, suggesting the government might establish infrastructure to track all AI usage and penalize non-reporting users. The debate is fundamentally focused on balancing industrial competitiveness against regulatory scope. Proponents see the tax as a dual mechanism, simultaneously driving efficiency gains and securing fiscal resources. Opponents fear increased costs for domestic operators and a potential expansion of government surveillance capabilities. Currently, the likelihood of this proposal becoming legislation is considered low, as it is not a priority in U.S. congressional policy, and the AI industry is currently prioritizing growth and investment over regulation. The industry's future regulatory stance remains a key variable, potentially mirroring the institutionalization path taken by the cryptocurrency sector.